title of this video is The Two Witnesses. Now this video is meant to go along with a video made by Into the Stars. Into the Stars, Casey is a retired physician, and he retired to do videos decoding stuff that he sees in Hollywood films, how it relates to eschatology and the hidden knowledge or secrets written in the Bible. His work takes some time to understand, but it is phenomenal. There is nothing else like it that exists on planet Earth. That being said, check this video out. Childhood's End is America's End. Has to do with coronavirus, vaccines. Some of the gematria that he does may be a little bit of a reach. You don't have to agree with everything, but your perspectives will change. He does a lot. Especially, I want people to read into right here. There's a lot of cultic activity that went on in the game show The Apprentice that none other than Donald Trump was the host of. And so check this video out. We're going to start here. We're going to watch maybe 20 seconds of it.
Now the year 2035, and just look at us.
It's easy.
19 years after the Overlord's arrival.
19 years after the Overlord's arrival.
19 years.
4 years after Corellum revealed his true form, we're living our lives under their watchful gaze. The birth rate is soaring. We have a world that we are proud to bring children into.
Okay, we're pausing on this real quick because on August 21st, 2017, NASA scientists launched 34, I'll repeat that number, 34 bacteria-laden balloons into a level of the atmosphere during the solar eclipse. What solar eclipse? None other than this solar eclipse. Now, 19 years is a metonic cycle. Okay, I said 19 years. I repeated it because I wanted you to remember that. You can always go back and watch the video. That's why I linked it in my YouTube channel. A metonic cycle is a 19-year cycle that's derived from Babylonian and Hebrew lunar-solar calendars. Okay, 19-year cycles. For example, on the summer solstice, June 21st, 2020, there was a lunar eclipse. If I'm not mistaken, it was a lunar eclipse. Exactly 19 years before that, 19 years, which was the year of 2001, okay, on June 21st, there was an eclipse. Exactly 19 years. Also, on the winter solstice, December 21st. 2020 in 2001. 19 years. Diodorus Siculus reports that Apollo is said to have visited the Hyperboreans once every 19 years. Apollo was the name that NASA chose for the entire lunar mission saga. Who is Apollo? Apollo, or in Greek Apollyon, or in Hebrew is Abaddon. He is in Revelations 9:11. Okay. I think from here, give me a second. Okay. Donald Trump's 66th floor tower suite was not ever open to reporters until, and I can't remember, I can click on this link as soon as I point out what I want to point out, and we'll just quickly see if we can find the origins of these articles and these photos. On his mantle is a picture of Apollo led by Aurora. Apollo on his chariot with angels, led by Aurora, and there are horses. In Trump's version, if we zoom in, there are 4 horses, all different colors. This is Trump's suite, okay? This article came from the Daily Mail, and it was around the time of voting time. Wait. Yeah. No, okay, so a year prior to the election. This was when it was first. Okay? Apollo and his chariot. So, without any further ado, we're going to get into what I wanted to cover. I do have some pictures that we're going to go over to go along with, and I'm going to read from you a passage from the Bible. Now, the reason I'm going to read a passage from the Bible is this. Okay? The reason I'm going to read you a passage from the Bible is that when the Bible was written, it was written by a group of people who intended to pass down a playbook for this end times prophecy so that they can fool everybody in the world to believing that they are the arbiters of a divine power that has been watching us from space. That's what they want you to believe. It's what I just said might take a little bit of time to digest, but they literally want to trick you into believing that they are the favorites of some divine force, something like extraterrestrials. I don't know. We don't know, okay? So I'm going to begin reading. It's going to be off screen, so I do have some graphics to go along with what I'm going to read. The first graphic I'm going to pull up is here, the pyramid walls. This is what this is called. These are pictures taken from the pyramid walls here, here, and here. Now, this is an interpretation of mine, okay? This is what I'm seeing based upon the translation. Now, this is Osiris. This is their god, their sun god. This is Osiris. This is their god, okay? Now, Osiris wears this hat, carries these rods. Essentially, is Nimrod worship, as we see these Knights Templar and Maltese cross symbols, okay? The Pope, sometimes he wears a yarmulke, sometimes he wears the fish hat. This is Nimrod worship. We have found this in ancient Egypt, but even further back to Sumeria. Mithra, I'm 99% sure this is Mithra. Don't crucify me if I get this wrong. But Mithra, and the Statue of Liberty was given to us by the French at the time the founding of the Illuminati was in France in the 1700s. Later in America by Adam Weishaupt. Okay? Illuminati, Freemasonry, they are intertwined. We'll go through pictures of the ancients afterwards to show you why this 19-year cycle is not going to be a 9/11. This 19-year cycle is going to be biblical. So without any further ado, I'm going to read from you first Revelations 10. Then I saw another mighty angel coming down from heaven. He was robed in a cloud, with a rainbow above his head. His face was like the sun, and his legs were like fiery pillars. He was holding a little scroll, which lay open in his hands. Excuse me, potentially up here. He planted his right foot on the sea and his left foot on the land, and he gave a loud shout like the roar of a lion. When he shouted, the voices of the seven thunders spoke. And when the seven thunders spoke, I was about to write, but I heard a voice from heaven say, "Seal up what the seven thunders have said, and do not write it down." Then the angel I had seen standing on the sea and on the land raised his hand to heaven, and he swore by him who lives forever and ever, who created the heavens and all that is in them, the earth and all that is in it, in the sea and all that is in it, and said, There will be no more delay. Okay, listen. There will be no more delay. I really want people to, when I repeat things, it's because I want you to really ponder. There will be no more delay. Also because I lost my spot. But in the days when the seventh angel is about to sound his trumpet, the mystery of God will be accomplished. The mystery of God, this whole mystery of the Bible, of them finally manifesting their self-fulfilling prophecy. Okay? The mystery of God will be accomplished just as he announced to his servants, the prophets. Then the voice spoke that I had heard from heaven spoke to me once more. Go, take the scroll that lies upon in the hand of the angel who is standing on the sea and the land. So I went to the angel and asked him to give me the little scroll. He said to me, take it and eat it. It will turn your stomach sour, but in your mouth it will be sweet as honey. He took from the angels and taste it and sweet it. He said, you must prophesy about many kings, nations, and peoples. So I'm going to move next to Revelations 11. Because this 11 is titled The Two Witnesses. I was given a reed like a measuring rod, and I was told, go and measure the temple of God and the altar with its worshippers. Give me 1 second. I'm going to pull up another graphic. Actually. You know, I don't have a temple infographic. This refers to the temple. Okay, this is the third temple. This is eschatology. And when Trump was campaigning, he was one of the platforms he was campaigning on was rebuilding the third temple and recognizing he wants to basically get rid of Palestine. So Cyrus or Osiris was the king who rebuilt the second temple. And they made a coin in Israel of Trump on the coin with Cyrus, a 70-year commemoration. Okay? So here we have, I was given a reed like a measuring rod. And I was told, go and measure the temple of God and the altar with its worshippers, but exclude the outer court. Do not measure it because it has been given to the Gentiles. I will pull up pictures. We need to pull up pictures. Because the Sanhedrin, which I misspelled, the Sanhedrin is the temple. Okay, this is the temple with the 24 elders. Okay, this is constantly destroyed and rebuilt. However, the third temple is underground. And we can find it very quickly here. It's already built. It's along the west wall. It's underground. So yeah, I'm going to translate the Bible for you here. When it says exclude the outer court, they're not talking about outer as in outside. They're talking about the incorrect part of the court. The Gentiles will trample for 42 months. Yes, they've held control for longer, but guess what? Donald Trump's first term is almost over. The upper court, which is the false one. The underground court, which is the one I'm showing you right here. The underground court exists, and the Sanhedrin is already completed. Now, if we look at images, I can show you the actual temple. Okay, historians argue exactly where the temple is. There's dispute, okay? Now, it has recently been revealed during Donald Trump's rise to presidency or shortly thereafter that if you click on these links, you will find the actual Sanhedrin along the western wall. And we will find, see, they won't show me the pictures, but they found it. They found the Sanhedrin. They have, it's there. You can find it yourself. It exists. It's underground. And guess what? All the while we've been focusing on this upper court. Oh no. Okay. Anyways, all the while we've been focusing on this upper court when it exists below. So just listen. And I will appoint my 2 witnesses, and they will prophesy for 1,260 days, which the time just passed. Okay, let's go back. Okay. They will prophesy for 1,260 days. I lost it. Clothed in sackcloth. They are the 2 olive trees and the 2 lampstands, and they stand before the Lord of the earth. If anyone tries to harm them, fire comes from their mouth and devours their enemies. This is how anyone who wants to harm them must die. They have power to shut up the heavens, so it will not rain during the time they are prophesying. Stuff like HARP and the weather modification tools that NASA uses. The stuff that they did in Chernobyl called cloud seeding. Yes, they were controlling when it rained back in the 80s. And they have the power to turn the waters into blood and to strike the earth with every kind of plague as often as they want. Now, when they have finished their testimony, the beast that comes up from the abyss will attack them and overpower them. Their bodies will lie in the public square of the great city, which is figuratively called Sodom and Egypt, where also the Lord was crucified. For 3.5 days, some from every people, tribe, language, and nation will gaze over their bodies and refuse them burial. Inhabitants of the earth will gloat over them and will celebrate by sending each other gifts, because the 2 prophets had tormented those who lived on earth. But after the 3.5 days, the breath of life from God entered them, and they stood upon their feet, and terror struck those who saw them. Then they heard a loud voice from heaven saying to them, "Come up here." And they went up to heaven in a cloud while their enemies looked on. At that very hour there was a severe earthquake, and the tenth of the city collapsed. 7,000 people were killed in an earthquake, and the survivors were terrified and gave glory to the God of heaven. The second woe is past. The third woe is coming soon. Now, the reason I've read you this is because in the few coming days we will see what happens with the Donald Trump situation, and we will see how this plays out if this relates to the 2 witnesses. Now, I don't believe that I finished Casey's video. I got off track. Anyways, he begins to speak about Apollo's golden age of the sun. I should have came back here earlier, but this is live, so here we go.
It's the golden age of man.
In no religion,
Utopia. I want to know why.
someday you'll join us.
And this is the UN Global Order agenda. Because even though it seems, even though it seems like Donald Trump, and even though he campaigns on policies that are contrary to the act of working with the WHO and the UN, in other words, he is talking badly about the UN. He is talking badly about the WHO. He is pulling funding from. He is removing support from. However, in the long run, his goal is in his personal agenda, a directive given to him by people higher up than any human that has been a wage slave and pays taxes could perceive or understand. Those people do not exist. Okay, listen. Those people do not exist in our system because they don't need it. All of that gets funneled and laundered to them. There is a force that of humans that controls this world, and they've never revealed themselves. Okay, I told you I have infographics. Here's the bloodline. Why I bring that up is Revelation 5. Then I saw in the right hand of him who sat on the throne a scroll with writing on both sides, sealed with 7 seals. And I saw a mighty angel proclaiming in a loud voice, "Who is worthy to break the seals?" This is their bloodline. Excuse me. This is their bloodline. This is the book, okay? This is a book. This is a lotus flower. This is a lotus flower. But no one in heaven or on earth or under the earth could open the scroll or even lock inside it. I wept and wept because no one was found who was worthy to open the scroll or look inside. And the only way you get in this room and you get to look inside is if you have sex with children on camera. So if you think that Trump doesn't like getting pissed on by hookers on camera, he's done far worse. He went and then I saw a lamb looking as if it had been slain, standing at the center of the throne, encircled by the 4 living creatures and the elders. The lamb had 7 horns and 7 eyes, which are the 7 spirits of God sent out into all the earth. He went and took the scroll from the right hand of him who sat on the throne. And when he had taken it, the 4 living creatures and the 24 elders fell down before the Lamb. This is the person who is able to open this book, okay? It's like literally like King Arthur and the Sword of the Stone. The person who is destined to open this book will be the Israel Messiah. Y'all won't see it. They won't put it on the news, but this is their game that they play. It's a game. And when he had taken it, the 4 living creatures and the 24 elders fell down before the Lamb. Each one of them had a harp, and they were holding golden bowls full of incense, which are the prayers of God. Yeah, some poetry. Then I looked, and I heard my angels, numbering thousands upon thousands and 10,000 times 10,000. They circled the throne and the living creatures and the elders in a loud voice. They were saying, yeah. Okay, you know what? And here I am lost and stumbling through Revelations because I read the wrong chapter. No, this is the book, okay? However, there are passages in here about the bloodline of David. Because in the Bible it says, and I believe it's either 2 or 3. Oh, I can't remember. There's no mention of David in 2. See, I should know this stuff, right? But listen, bloodline of David in the Bible. Okay, you're looking at it. The bloodline of David. Let me break down the bloodlines for you just a little real quick. Putin and the Queen of England are related. This is the Romanov bloodline. World War One. The Tsar Nicholas and Wilhelm of Germany and the Crown of Great Britain are all related. They have a blood disease, and that is because they are not human beings. They are the race of Nephilim from the Bible, the fallen ones, okay? They are creatures that attempt to look like humans, however they're not, okay? This is how it works, ready? Their men can get human women pregnant. However, human men cannot get their women pregnant. That's how it works. It's scientifically proven, okay? It's Rh negative, Rh positive. These are all relatives of each other. Skin tone is not exclusive to their club. Okay? They're all related. Each and every single one of them. Do we see Gore versus Bush in the same fraternity? You cannot tell the Crown from the Bush family apart. They are Masons. They are with Epstein and Bohemian Grove, Nixon, Reagan, the Queen, and the Saudis. The Saudis are also, Muhammad said, the Bedouins. And you'll know the end times when the Bedouins are building skyscrapers. You'll know. Here, we have Aleister Crowley and Grandma Bush. Alleged relations. Aleister Crowley is the founder of Satan, of the First Church of Satanism. Wicked person. This is a split image of Aleister Crowley and Winston Churchill. Now, it is rumored that Winston Churchill was such a drunkard towards the end of his political career that they needed somebody to show up to appearances, to wave out the window, and to give speeches. He had a double, and this is a split image of Yuri Gagarin and Neil Armstrong. Yuri Gagarin died in a plane crash following his one and only lunar flight to the moon, and the way that he was identified, it was a plane crash of a test flight. The way that he was identified was a little piece of flesh, probably the size of a chicken nugget. So this is their bloodline, and they go back to the ancients. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I'll end with something else. So they go back to the ancients. I really wanted to focus on this solar eclipse, 21st, 2017, because roughly 7 years later is the planet X. Okay, planet X, Nibiru, Wormwood. It's not a physical thing, but these people are trying. See, okay, yeah, I'm going to save that. I know what to do. See, furthermore than a year, or, see, human beings, we only see a year. That's all we've been programmed to understand. The ancients from all over the world, they were on a larger clock, a celestial clock. This number right here, this is called precession of the equinox. You can look this up. It has the 12 zodiacs. It takes roughly, according to this source, 25,820 years to proceed around this celestial clock. Okay? In other words, right, 2,582 years to go through 1/10 of a cycle. I think it's roughly 2,000 years to go through a 12th of the cycle. So they estimate that these ages, if you listen to biblical eon philosophers, I don't know if that's the correct characterization for them. You listen to them, they like to put somewhere around 2,100, 2,200 years. You'll see varying numbers, and it's not, I don't think we have been studying it long enough to have the mathematical precision to say beyond a shadow of a doubt what the number is. Now, I find it interesting that if you take 33, which is the Masonic number, and you multiply it by 666, you get 21,978. If you measure the Earth at sea level, which is circumference in nautical miles, you get 21,680, I think is the rough. There are a lot of things you don't know that I know, and there's even more that they know that I don't know. All around the world, we have this mathematical alignment with the pyramids. Not just the Giza pyramids, but the pyramids in South America and China, all over the Middle East and Africa. Okay? Listen, this is what water erosion does. Water meaning flowing downwards off of the cliff. Okay? This is what wind erosion does. It creates tunnels. Just like this. This is the Sphinx. If we were to zoom in on the wall, you will find water erosion at the base of the Sphinx, which was there at the time of the construction of the Sphinx. Geologists do not have any data at all whatsoever that in the last 20,000 years there was anywhere close to adequate rainfall to create this type of erosion. Egyptologists are not letting independent researchers explore the basin of the Sphinx to look for the alleged trapdoor. Now, the pyramids are lined up mathematically to a precision that modern day architects cannot achieve. It's something like 1/60th of a degree that has held true over an unfathomable amount of time. I apologize to anybody who this offends, but if you think that Nubians built the pyramids or the Sphinx, you are out of your mind. It's impossible. There is zero possibility. We find this evidence all over the world, whether you're in Mexico, Indonesia, Egypt. I can't. You'll find this in all of the cathedral architecture. Skull and Bones, Freemasons, Shriners. You'll find it in biblical drawings. In the Grand Canyon, we have the same alignments. And we can find that the Grand Canyon has pyramids in it. People are not allowed to go in nearly even a fraction of the percent of the Grand Canyon when they visit. You're not allowed to fly drones over. It is guarded by federal agencies. They created the whole Area 51 scam so that they could guard the Grand Canyon with anti-gravity craft. They do not want you in there because there are Egyptian relics. There are heads of sphinxes in the Grand Canyon. More gold in the Grand Canyon than the known global supply exists. In Bosnia, the same thing. Uncovered. Said was a mountain by the government. Uncovered pyramid stones. Large spherical relics. This is a picture in the Grand Canyon. Here's another picture in the Grand Canyon. And we know that over time, the water direction in the Grand Canyon, the direction in the Colorado River, has changed at least once. This is what pyramids are. They're energy harvesting materials. Tesla. Tesla discovered these energies, and it was buried and given to Donald Trump's uncle, who on Wikipedia doesn't have any FBI ties, but the pyramids are used to harvest the power of the ages, planetary alignments and magnetism. And this is how anti-gravity craft was created in the 1900s by a man named Victor Schauberger. This is their bloodline. This is the mural on Bank of America. Off to the left of the picture. And these are pictures from iPad Go. When you double the image and flip it on itself, and you look, in the middle, we have a figure. I'm telling you right now. Color doesn't matter. One of these individuals is likely to rise at some point in time. You can see it. The head and the ears. It's all the same bloodline, so it doesn't matter. But depending on what happens over the next 4 years, okay, there's going to be civil war in America. The next 4 years, they're going to decide which one of these individuals they are likely to prop up. Not as a president, though. Maybe a global leader. They're going to prop one of these individuals up. If they need to empower this demographic, COINTELPRO, okay? When the Panthers got split into the Bloods and the Crips, if they need to empower this demographic, they'll bring this one out. If they need the good old boys, they'll bring this one out. It's a game to them. This is how it works. And I said that it's going to end like that. Okay, listen. What they want to do is they want to escape to the moon to colonize it. And they want to become gods. They want you to believe that there are extraterrestrials. It's fantastical. Just read Revelations. And I'm going to leave y'all with this, because this is very, very, very important. If you've made it this far, please Just understand this. You may not agree with everything that I've said. But a lot of the stuff you can trace back, you can understand the oddities, the bizarre, the abnormal, the abstract. If you look at Grox T1 or Enter the Stars, these two are artists, and I don't agree with everything they say. 10%, 5%, maybe 1%. I don't know. I can't tell you. Take time to go through these movies, and you will understand their plan. Okay? This is the Illuminati card game. Some of y'all don't know that the Illuminati made a card game displaying all their moves. And this is what they want. They want mutually assured destruction. Donald Trump, the clown, is getting everybody mad. The number one importance is we are not in the club. Unfortunately, we can't get the information out to everybody. Some people are going to make the wrong choices and choose the wrong sides. It's not, and the game is not concrete. The correct side to be on will change over time. May the best choices be with you.